No minutes saved. It's Tuesday, October 27th. This is the Metrics Analysis Working Group. And we're starting to wind down, I think. First section on the agenda is the status on persistent items. Ilya, would you take us through?
Thank you, Lyle. Support we can review. Asset is trending back up. Can already give some preliminary results for October. We're right now at 92% for asset for all groups, so that's good. Again, nice results for FRT, nice results for, well, at least within target for NRT. SAS general, again, this is for September, but in total, the effect of SAS and SAS accounts is a bit less because we have less tickets there, hence why we are increasing to 92% in October. But anyways, as of September, these are the results we already are familiar with. Self-managed, still within target on all the parameters that we're monitoring. But again, in support, we can review, we can see for self-managed that for NLT, we are within target. For self-managed, we are within target. For .com FRT, we are close, we are a bit under. And for NLT, we are good. And asset, as I've mentioned, we have been steadily increasing back to normality for that. In LNR, support we can review. We have just recently checked. We have wonderful results for FRT, great results for NRT, and asset is stable as well.
Excellent.
Impressive.
The next is the outstanding hypotheses. Most of them are closed at this point. Ilya and I spent some time last week looking at number 6, FRT Hawks. Oh, no, sorry. SAS tickets have gotten harder, number 8. That's the one we looked at. Ilya posted kind of a summary comment there. Ilya, do you want to read it or should I read it?
I can go for it. I can do the TLDR version. We believe that we don't necessarily have information to dispute our hypothesis. So it does seem likely. However, we'll probably have to collect some more information. As of right now, we don't really have a system of collecting ticket difficulty, and it's a notoriously difficult subject to measure, but we have suggested a few procedures which we'll follow up in due time. One of them is updating the ticket with a subjective measurement counter, which engineers can fill in at some given moments in time. And we can also, we're considering to do a quantifiable frequency word usage measurement, which we can do using a few scripts that we have to kind of try to create a mapped view of types of tickets that we're working on based on customer words and not based on product type, not based on problem type, something a bit more consistently measurable, and then maybe see if we have some trends in different products that we might consider more difficult. And if everything goes as planned and we have both of those, we can eventually correlate perhaps specific words with specific subjective measurement of difficulty and layers of different measurements that can stem from those.
Another thing that'll help with this one is the upcoming work group, proliferating, about like identifying problem types. And I think that will also help because I think each problem type we could probably assign a relative difficulty to, which I think that could also help give a piece of this puzzle. But overall, I think it's, you said it well, it's notoriously difficult. Other hypotheses that are open, I think that may have been the last one. Yeah, so I mean, number 6 we deprioritized, so I'll mark that one as, I think we actually need a new label, inconclusive. But we can do that. So that actually takes us through our initial hypotheses. In agenda item number 3, I wanted to note that that merge request that talks about reforming this work group and our floors is now merged. Thank you, TC. I tried to make it too big by adding a bunch of the hypothesis action steps. but I took that out. And so that's what kind of the next step is getting this page into a state where future working groups can, rest on the work that we've done so far. So if they have similar hypotheses to what we have, being able to go through the analysis that we did, and then rather than having to invent the analysis themselves, use that information to just quickly support or falsify the same hypotheses, and hopefully get onto new, more interesting ones. And well, maybe not hopefully, maybe we hope that the hypotheses that they come up with are just, that they don't have to do anything and it just becomes like clockwork. I think that's going to take some time. So I don't have any other agenda items for this meeting, but that would be kind of my suggestion, is that we skip next week. We check in on Slack, just like as a touch point, and then do our final wrap up November 10th, with this being the outstanding thing is if you went through one of these hypotheses analysis, then make a merge request to that actions page. But does anybody have anything else they want to discuss today?
I completely agree with you. I think also the more we progress with the asset working group, we might get some valuable feedback to add to future developments.
I was curious, one thing about kind of the reporting, the artifacts of reporting that kind of help guide the investigation into hypothesis, if it makes sense to kind of either build a dashboard or just a location that for these kinds of analysis to have to go back to, so they also don't have to be reinvented, right? We have the top ones that say, do we need to do anything? And then we have the deeper ones, things like, Ilya's done and Wei Ming's done and that sort of thing. If we have a consistent kind of here's a set of tools to use as we go back and look at different new hypotheses.
Yeah, no, I think it's a both and. Like I would hope that anything that we put on this page would also link to a dashboard, or at least a query.
Yeah, that needs to be maintained or held there, right? Not deleted, removed, whatever, cleaned up.
Yeah.
But easy to find too, yeah.
I mean, that's ideally, in the best world, we never have to go back to this stuff at all because we're always performing. And so, like, it will probably fall out of date as things shift, right? So that's why I was we should definitely have like the dashboards defined as they exist today, but I expect that they'll probably get out of date and that they'll be something that has to be rebuilt, which is why I was hoping for sort of like the qualitative piece as well about like what we took a look at.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I guess maybe it's on me to do the first one, and then people can copy what I do. Okay.
And just said that I will add as many, quantifiable reporting data to our hypotheses as possible. So we will have some data to work with in the future, when possible.
Cool. So let's take a look at our exit criteria just to make sure that we're not totally off the rails. Exit criteria number 1, define conditions under which a metrics work group will be formed. Defined and formed with the SAT group. Create a dashboard that exposes metrics and targets that'll trigger actions. Done. And then document the common hypothesis. This is where our outstanding action is. So I think we're pretty good. Anything else on y'all's minds?
Well, yeah, not for this particular group. my mind is hurting, but yes.
Cool. Okay. So I'm going to cancel next week's meeting, and I'll send a summary to Donique and Wei Ming, just so that they're aware. And I'll prioritize getting my MR in early this week, so that you all have an example. We'll have a touch point next week on Tuesday in Slack. I will probably ping you, so prepare to be pinged.
Prepare. Cool. Thanks, Lyle.
Thank you. All right. Take care all.
Thanks, Ilya.